Hey, Nissan Deneta here from the Good Life Redefined, and today we are in an environment episode, and I want to talk about 20 things that we do in order to become more sustainable. And you can do many of them too. Maybe not all the 20. We're living off the grid, we're living on an island, we have quite a big piece of land. It might be everything that we do you can't, but you can for sure do a lot of those. So without further ado, I'm just going to go one by one pretty quickly through them. We will make a specific episode for most of those, so there will be a specific episode for most of those points. So make sure to subscribe to our channel, so when we are coming with a new episode, you don't miss it. So first of all, we're generating all our electricity from the sun. We have solar panels on the roof and batteries, and that's how we generate our electricity. This house was built more than 40 years ago, was never connected to the grid. You might live in a different country, you might already be connected to the grid, but the possibility of putting solar panels and then use that electricity when you have enough sun, and when you have more sun than that, you can actually usually sell that extra electricity back into the grid. Second one is also about electricity, and that's about using as little electricity as possible. So we don't have any high energy consuming appliances. We don't have a dishwasher, we don't have a dryer. We're having all the appliances we have are, top of the line, they are using as little amount of electricity as possible. And we do turn off the lights whenever we get out of the room. So this is something to consider. Every single person can do that. You can do that too. The number 3 is about water. Water where we are is very scarce. Actually, water everywhere in the planet is scarce. Even if you live in a country that has seemingly lots and lots and lots of water, and you open the tap and water comes and you can let it run forever, still, as a world issue, that's a problem. We don't have enough clean drinking water. So the idea is to use as little amount of water as possible and to collect as much as possible. So number 3 for us is collecting rainwater. Here in Tenerife, in our area, we have only a couple of weeks a year rain. So we have a week in the winter and a week just in the spring, and that's it. But we collect every single drop of that. So when we moved into the house, we actually dug 4 ponds which can collect a huge amount of water just from those couple of weeks of rain a year. And you can do that in your house. Number 4 is that all the grey water that we're generating, grey water are those water that are coming from the sinks and from the showers, not from the toilet, but from the sinks and from the shower. All those grey water, we connected them into the garden. The results are phenomenal. Number 5 is still about water. We are flushing the toilets only when we poop, okay? Maybe not nice to say on a video, but when we pee, we don't flush the water. There is no reason in the world, in my opinion, that we should spend or waste 10 liters of good, clean drinking water in order to wash a little bit of sterile, water that came out of your body. So we are only flushing, basically, if that's the 2 of us, basically twice a day. We're saving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of liters of water every single week. We don't have, by the way, a bath in the house, but if you have a bath in the house and you like to do baths, make sure that you're using those water either for irrigation, for watering, or for filling up the toilet, but that's just an extra tip. Number 6 is about waste and how to live with less waste, or how to generate less waste. So the first thing is every single organic waste that we have is being used. We never throw anything out. So we're having a priority. The first is getting the chicken, so the chicken gets the first, then gets the worms. We have a worm farm that is generating for us the most amazing fertilizer, compost. So they get it second, and then what they cannot eat, so not the chicken, not the worms, then we put it into compost, and what the compost cannot take, then we put it into a different system which is called bukashi, which we'll make a special episode about that, because that's something that you can do at home. It's a very small container that you can do anywhere in any small apartment in order to recycle or reuse your organic waste. Next one, when it comes to plastic, we all know how big plastic is a problem in the world. So first of all, we're trying to buy everything that we could in bulk, or that doesn't include plastic packaging. It's not so easy in Tenerife. We don't have a lot of consciousness around us here. The supermarkets are trying to wrap everything in plastic, but when we can, we get stuff without plastic or we buy it in bulk. Number 8 is we're using less plastic as much as we can. When we go shopping, we go with our bags. So when we go to the supermarket, we come back, we go with our bags or our containers, and we put the vegetables and the fruits in our containers, and then we give them to the cashier. Number 9 is we do recycle whatever is left. So it's not we recycle it, it's actually we put it in the municipality recycling bins, but we do separate from plastic, glass, aluminum and paper, put it in the separate containers, and we hope that they actually do something with that. That's a little bit out of our hands. Number 10 is we're growing a lot of our own food. So we don't need to buy so much food from the outside. We don't need to deliver food that comes from distances. So we grow a lot of the vegetables, a lot of the fruits here, nuts, honey, and eggs we're growing here. We're not yet 100% sustainable. I'm not sure that we ever will be able to be 100% sustainable, but we're getting there, especially in the summer months when we have a lot of crops. So that's something to consider. We will share with you in some coming episodes how you can grow your own food, even if you don't have a garden, even if you just have a balcony. So number 11, you might not be able to do in your house, depends a little bit on your situation, but for us it's a fantastic resource and a fantastic way to reduce our waste. So we're having a chicken coop which right now has 10 chickens, which delivers all the fresh eggs. And we have next to the chicken coop, we have a big aviary with a couple of hundreds of beautiful, beautiful birds that are, that together, the chickens and the birds generate tons of poop. And what we do is every few weeks we're collecting, we're scooping all the poop, we put it into buckets, and we're using it in the compost. We're using it as fertilizers for our gardens, for our vegetable beds, and it's one of the best that we can get. Number 12 is we're recycling old tires that we find around, that people throw away. We're collecting them and we're reusing them, we're painting them, we're making them beautiful, but actually we're using them for practical purposes. We're using them as vegetable beds. Number 13 is another thing that we recycle, is we recycle a lot of wooden pallets. You know, the old wooden pallets that people are throwing, that factories are throwing, that delivery companies are throwing away. And we're breaking them down, getting the pieces of wood together. We're painting it usually with something that protects them from the weather and from insects, and we make things from them. We make from them pathways in the garden. We make from them furniture, including beds and chairs and cupboards. It's pretty amazing what you can do with this wood as soon as you just shave it a little bit and give it a little bit of a paint. So this is a wonderful way to recycle old material. Number 14, might fit you, might not fit in your life. For us, this is working now for many, many, many years. And that should just have one car together. So we're sharing one car with a very, very tiny engine. So we're using as less fuel as possible. Right now in Tenerife, there is no infrastructure for electric cars, so we cannot have one. But as soon as that will be happening, hopefully soon, then we're going to get ourselves an electric car. Number 15, it's we're using, because we're, well, because of many reasons, but one of the reasons is because we're getting all the grey water into the garden. We're making sure that both us and everyone else that is living in this house at any moment are using biodegradable soaps, shampoos, detergents, etc. So we make sure that whatever water comes out of the house into the garden is as clean and as organic, biodegradable as possible. Number 16, we rarely, both of us, we're rarely buying new clothes. And when we do buy new clothes, we usually buy them secondhand. So this is a way to make sure that we don't always consume more and more and more new stuff. Number 17 is we regularly take the old clothes, either from us or from other people that we collect from, and we make from them other things. We make from them bags, we make from them curtains, we make from them pillowcases or sofa covers. And this is another way to give old stuff a new use. Number 18 connects to that. We regularly, both of us, are decluttering our cupboards, our closets, and whenever we find something that we're not regularly using, we're donating it or we're giving it to a second-hand shop so somebody else can benefit from that. And number 19 probably should have been number 1, but that's not fitting for everyone, so I put it here. And that's in the 5 years that we're living here, we planted about 350 trees in our property. It's not as big as it sounds, but we planted a lot of trees, which creates first of all, it creates lots of food because most of them are fruit trees, but it also enhances the biodiversity. We have many, many different fruit trees. It brings insects, which brings the birds, which brings other wildlife. It also cools down the soil. It creates organic material. It does a lot of good things. The best thing you can do for climate to mitigate, if you want, the climate change is to plant lots and lots of trees. We do our own little thing, or our own little contribution. We planted so far 350 trees, and this year, 2020, we're planning to plant about 250 trees more. Number 20, it's the last one. It's about working as a community. So we have a few neighbors around us, and we're trying to share as much as we can, if it's tools, if it's machinery, if it's crops. So when we have produce, we're trying to share it so everybody will have when we have excess. And yeah, so we all need to buy less, to consume less, etc. So those were the 20 things that we are doing, the easy thing that we are doing in order to live more sustainably. And what I would like to hear is from you, first of all, is what of those ideas inspire you to try that also in your life or in your home or in your environment, in your community? Second, do you have any other tips for us or for anybody else about sustainability that we didn't think about or that I didn't mention? Okay, maybe we thought about it, but I didn't mention. So please let us know in the comment box below. I would like to make sure that we all keep on communicating. We always respond to every single comment that you're putting in, and sometimes we ask you follow-up questions. So please make sure that you come back a day after and check your comments, see if maybe somebody else or us responded or want to know some more. If you didn't subscribe yet to our channel, this is your chance to do that. So we make sure that we give you more episodes, and also that many of those points will have their own episodes. So stay subscribed, and until we meet again, live fully, stay awesome, from Nisande in Tenerife.